Nate Savage here, Savage 5050. I appreciate every single person who subscribed to my channel, anybody who newly subscribed, and I appreciate everybody who been there with me since day one. Now, I wanted to talk about January 6th. You know, the day that America was almost seized by a bunch of barbarians at the Capitol Hill. It was the closest day that America ever came to where the government was almost overturned by a bunch of wild, racist, Marxist, white people. Even though nobody was armed and only one person was shot, and that was an unarmed white woman named Ashley Babbitt, who was shot by a black officer, Officer Byrd. Now, Kamala Harris gave her washed up speech talking about voting rights at the Capitol Hill because that's a huge problem. Even though Kamala Harris is responsible for the border, which she does not protect at all, even though the left want us to care about the C virus and all kinds of variants in the air. However, the left is in support of open borders and letting anybody into the country, unvetted, unvaccinated, unmarked people, illegal immigrants, to get in the country, rob, rape, steal, do whatever they want, especially if they go to California. Now, Joe Biden follows right behind her with his washed up speech, talking about the so-called insurrection, the worst thing that ever happened to the country. White supremacy is the greatest threat to America, Joe Biden want the American folks to believe. And I can't believe people can't see that it's literally the left-wing Democrats that's pushing all the hatred in the country. Now, I want you to watch this evil, so-called eighth of black in her blood, so-called first vice president of black descent, right? Listen to her washed up speech.
Here in this very building, a decision will be made about whether we uphold the right to vote and ensure free and fair elections. Let's be clear. We must pass the voting rights bills that are now before the Senate. And the American people must also do something more. We cannot sit on the sidelines. We must unite in defense of our democracy.
So she got a lot of talking to do about voting rights because that's a huge threat to America, right? Black people don't have the right to vote in certain states. They suppress the black vote. You're not allowed to drink water. You're not allowed to eat food while you wait in line to vote. You got to show voter ID. That's racist because you know damn well a black person does not have the intelligence. I don't care how long they went to school. A black person don't have the intelligence to get a ID. Even though a black person have the intelligence to go get vaccinated, but a black person, if they got to show ID, that's voter suppression. That's white supremacy because white people are supreme to black people because white people are supreme. So they know how to get an ID, but black people, they don't know how to get an ID. That's what Kamala Harris gave her January 6th speech about. She got to defend voter rights.
I did not seek this fight brought to this Capitol 1 year ago today, but I will not shrink from it either. I will stand in this breach. I will defend this nation. And I will allow no one to place a dagger at the throat of democracy. We will make sure the will of the people is heard, that the ballot prevails, not violence, that authority in this nation will always be peacefully transferred.
So Democrats, not only Kamala Harris and Sleepy Joe Biden, comparing this to Pearl Harbor, comparing this to 9/11, where over 3,000 Americans was killed by a terrorist attack. Only one white woman was killed at Capitol Hill. This is a comparison to 9/11? Are you kidding me? And people on the left actually agree with this. All of CNN. This is Christmas over there at CNN, MSNBC, all the communist networks. They are having a blast with this so-called celebration day for the left. of the destruction of the great white hope, Donald Trump.
You can't love your country only when you win. You can't obey the law only when it's convenient. You can't be patriotic when you embrace and enable lies. Those who stormed this Capitol, and those who instigated and incited, and those who called on them to do so, held a dagger at the throat of America, at American democracy.
Joe Biden is completely misleading the American people when he talked about there wasn't a peaceful transition of power in the United States when it comes to the presidency. What wasn't peaceful about it? Because Trump didn't go to your inauguration, so you still mad about that? Far as I know, when the right date came, Trump left office and gave power over to Sleepy Joe. So there was peace. Did he agree with the election? Did he agree with the results? Absolutely not. Out of 155 million voters, yes, it was detected that there was voter fraud in multiple states. I think 1 or 2 states actually turned back to Trump to support the red. So there was some sort of voter fraud in the election. Now, maybe Trump and a couple of other Republicans misled people when they talked about Mike Pence had the power to not send the votes through. That wasn't completely true. Mike Pence didn't have enough power to stop Joe Biden from becoming a president. So what do Kamala Harris and Joe Biden want? They want to end the filibuster so they could take 100% power. These people on the left, the Democratic far left, they want to pack the Supreme Court justice. I don't know how many members they want it to be. Maybe they want it to be 86. They want more than what we have now. That way they could take full power. Once they take full power and be able to pack the courts however they want and however they please, they ain't going to have no reason to keep the borders open at that point. Because at that point, what the hell would they need illegal immigrants for? If it don't even matter who's in office, if nothing that the Republicans say even hold no weight, because once they pack the Supreme Courts, Democrats got 100% power. Because trust me, the Supreme Court justices they will pick will be far left, radical, left-wing nuts, probably a transgender man and a transgender woman with purple hair, maybe a couple of few radical blacks, probably put some Muslims up there. But whatever they do, they're going to make sure they destroy the straight white Christian conservative man. And these radical left-wing Democrats, they don't really give a damn about a lot of the problems they complain about. When it comes to all of this social justice warrior stuff, when it comes to black people, black suppression, LGBTQ rights, CRT, BLM, which is a Marxist terrorist organization, by the way, they don't give a damn about none of that stuff. They using all of these people to divide. That way they can conquer at the top. They don't give a damn about the American people. The Democratic Party is the party of treason. The Democratic Party, the whole party should be impeached. In my personal opinion, in my personal view, they are a radical Marxist terrorist organization that's completely anti-American. And anybody that's in office who supports BLM, which BLM ain't poke his head in a minute, but guarantee you they will come midterms that's coming up. So they all are treasonous. BLM, they're nothing that's good for the country. BLM was allowed to riot. BLM was allowed to burn down half of the country. They took over a city in Portland. And they was allowed to take over, and they actually came closer to overturning the government. Even though they didn't, they actually took over cities, was shooting at black people. They killed little girls. Women was raped. Black women was raped. Buildings was burnt down. Black businesses was burnt down, all in the name of BLM and George Floyd. Black people knew Jesus. So they was allowed to do all of this stuff, destroy America, and tried to conquer America, tried to take Donald Trump out of office before his due date was even over. How the hell is BLM not labeled a terrorist, racist, Marxist organization? How do you support it? How do you support Black Lives Matter, which is in support of destroying a black family, destroying a black home? You support that because CNN and MSNBC controls black culture, and they told you that it's pro-black, and you believe them. What an idiot you are. Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, they have the worst administration we ever seen in our life. The Brandon administration is a treason administration. It was a complete peaceful transfer of power when Trump left office. Did he support Joe Biden? Absolutely not. Did Hillary Clinton support Trump when he won? Absolutely not. Did y'all black king, what's his name? Barack Hussein Obama, did he support Trump? No. But that doesn't mean it wasn't peaceful just because people don't support you. They'll say what they need to do to convince the American people the truth. Maybe you don't agree with it, but it's not treason. Did Trump cause an insurrection? He told white America, go to the Capitol and seize the damn building? Y'all fell for that because y'all don't have no goddamn on brain? They could tell you anything, and you believe it. Whatever the left radical media say, you believe it because you have no brain of your own. Trump literally said, peacefully, patriotically protest. And you believe that he formed an insurrection to try to overthrow the government in his favor. You are an idiot, period. Y'all fall for everything the left believe. Just because they got a so-called pro-black vice president, Kamala Harris, who slept her way to the top. Anyway, I'm Nate Savage. If you appreciate the words I said, like my video, share my video, subscribe to my channel, and make sure you send my video to a radical left-wing nut just so they could get mad and give me a thumbs down. Let's get the algorithm going. I appreciate everybody who subscribed to my channel. I'm Nate Savage, the Savage 5050. Peace.